All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. All right. So, Coach Eddie Hamilton, outside of the X's and O's, welcome to this evening show. Glad to have you here. For those that have opportunity to come in, so definitely appreciate you taking out the time to join me here. Trying to get this YouTube thing rolling. So, definitely want to jump in and log in and definitely check out what we got going here tonight. My name's Eddie Hamilton. I live in Louisiana. And tonight, I just have a question for you right now. For coaches out there, guys, ladies and gentlemen who are in the coaching profession at any level, especially middle school, high school, and the question is what's your biggest challenge in balancing coaching and your personal life? You know, right now, school is getting started. We're rolling. Class is starting. Workouts after school. Meetings and professional developments and all those things are taking place. So now here it is. We want to know, how do we balance our coaching responsibilities with our personal life? So my name is Eddie Hamilton, the founder of the Coaches Code, where our priority is that we help coaches prioritize well-being along with building winning programs. This is my 20th year of coaching. I recently took on a new assignment at a small school by the name of Plain Dealing High School in the northwest corner of Louisiana, right under the Arkansas state line. And I'm very, very excited about our new beginning. Here at year 20 and taking on a new challenge. I like challenges. And so definitely looking forward to that. So here we are. Thank you for coming in. And we're just going to jump right in today. And our topic is balancing our coaching responsibilities with our personal life. And, it's crazy. I use that title, balancing, but the truth is that I'm a person that I really don't believe in balance. It's just something that, in my mind, it's a thing that is not necessarily, that is not a real thing. It's just that I think we need to change the way that we say it to people when it comes down to, us doing what we have to do for our families. And, so the main thing right now is not necessarily that, but it's something that everybody's familiar with. How do I find balance? How do I find balance? How do I find balance? I got practices, I got planning, I got games, I got to grade papers, I got to get the buses, I got to do fundraisers, I got to go to professional developments, I got to go to faculty meetings, all of these different things that we have as coaches. And a lot of times for us as coaches, one of the things that happens is that it's forgotten that we're human beings, that we wear a lot of hats. In some districts, coaches got to drive the buses to and from the games, making sure there's diesel fuel in the buses, purchasing uniforms, raising money, parent meetings, communicate with parents, disgruntled parents that want to help, teachers that might have issues with students. There's so many things that go on and on and on. And one of the things that my goal is to help to be able to get like a order of operations and understand that we can live a well-balanced life and not be a win at all cost mindset, which we need to win, but at the same time, it's making sure that we're putting things in order that we can win and still enjoy our lives. So let's jump right into it. First thing I want to talk about is prioritize what matters most. As coaches, if we can just slow down and sit down, every school year for me, the school year will be a blur. Even though I know it's coming, I know it's getting ready to happen every year, but it's like the school year starts and everything is coming real fast. And even though I'm a person, I have things organized, but when school starts, it's like now trying to really get it started and put it in position where I can, knock things out in a systematic fashion. So the first thing is prioritize what matters most in that moment, in that time. What I have done over the years is I will start the year off with these blinding headaches because everything's so fast. But what I'll do is I will sit down and I will just make a list on a blank piece of paper, because I was kind of mentored and told to just make a list on paper that I can see, and everything that I knock out, I draw a line to show me that I'm making some progress. Okay. So with that, prioritize what matters most. What is coming up next? What is the thing that's happening right now that's coming up next that I got to make sure that I'm getting that thing done? Okay. And so prioritize what matters most and not just necessarily aim for perfect balance. Because the thing about it is that when you're talking about balance, it's actually it's always moving. If you can imagine a balance scale right now, when you're putting things and taking it off, it's constantly moving. And it's rare that it gets into a perfect balance because it keeps shifting. But what happens is that we pay attention to what's on it and what needs to be taken off. We want to get in front of us and see what things need to be taken care of first. So in saying that, it's one of those things that when you think about it, by emphasizing the importance of making decisions based on my core priorities, family, health, my team, in my case, I'm involved in my church. It could be charity, community events. The focus needs to be on the present. Okay. That's the thing that we have to do as coaches is focus on what is right in front of us. That's what's most important. We have to make sure that we're getting what's right there and chip away at that thing a little bit at a time to start to find some pressure release. Okay. To start to calm down and start to be a little more cool, a little more collected, and your thoughts begin to come more clear. Okay. So that's the message starting off is prioritize what matters the most. What do I need to get to first? And when you do that, like I said, what happens is you start to calm, start to become more cool, and be more clear in your decision making. I found that to work for me over the years. It's crazy because I'm very, very hard headed at times. And there are times when, even though I know and I see what's coming, I have to write that stuff down. It's like I try to think and think and think I'm gonna do this, and this. And the truth is, that's just not very, very wise to do. It's just not, especially getting older. Man, I might as well just stop trying to remember everything and write that stuff down, okay, and mark it off one thing at a time. Next thing I want to talk about is just time management. And the thing about it with time management is that it's a must-have skill. Like it's must-have. You have to have the skill of managing your time. Um, and that's not an easy thing, but like I said, it goes back to at your core, what is your most important priorities? We have to think about that intentionally about what is being prioritized in order for you to manage the time. Okay. So if you think about that, you know, for me to manage time, what I have to do is take those priorities. When I look in front of me and I see that I have these things coming up, whether it's the next practice, whether it's a fundraiser, whether it's checking grades, whether it's my classroom organization, I have to look and see and look at that calendar to see what things are coming up and chip away at it. So I'm able to manage my time. It's a skill that we gotta have in order to gain control. Okay, in order to put ourselves in a position as coaches where we can feel like we're winning because we're competitors. That's one of the things that we're competitors. And so we want, as competitors, it's good that we can make these lists, okay, and put in front of us so that we can manage. Now we can say, okay, I got this done. I won that battle. I got this done. I won that battle. I got this done. I won that battle. Okay. And you can find things to slow down. So one of the things is that we have to highlight how prioritizing effectively helps in managing the overwhelming demands on our time. The goal is progress. If you think about it, every single day as coaches, we're just trying to progress. Okay. There's a saying that we say to our teams a lot of times that we want to get 1% better. You want to get 1% better. Okay. That sounds good. We want to get 1% better. We say that, want to get 1% better. That's cool. But how do we do that? Well, by eliminating tasks, by getting things in front of us, being able to see it. Okay. And remember, we're not going for perfection. We're just trying to gain control over our personal and professional life. So like I said, we got to line things up based on our priorities. So when you line those things up, so my list that I make a personal list. Okay. I look at all the things that I have to do at home. What's coming up with my family? What's coming up, at church, or, what is coming up with my son, with my wife? What are the things that I can see this week that I know I need to be prepared for and work around? I start right there. Okay. Then I look at my duties as a teacher. Okay. What is it that I have to have done from day to day? And I'm looking Monday through Friday of that week. And I'm saying what needs to be done as an educator and as a teacher, because people forget coaches, we're teachers as well. Okay. For those of us as high school, middle, elementary school, we're teachers as well. And so I go personal life, then I go to what needs to be done as a teacher. Okay. And then I go to what needs to be done as a coach. Okay. Now with coaching, it's broad because now we're looking at practices. If you're at the high school level, you have freshman, JV, and varsity. Okay. You have all three levels. Then we have some guys that are playing football at the beginning of the season. We have to get our workout schedule. We got to plan out what we want to prioritize in our workouts. Okay. Weight rooms, conditioning, skill work. So you want to sit down and literally make a schedule and see what is my priority at those things. Okay. And then for me, in addition, then I have, what do I have coming up at church? Okay. And then also I have two small companies, a consulting company and a real estate investing company. So I have a list of a group of things. I literally sit down piece by piece and I look at a calendar and look at what's going on personally, because we do not want to sacrifice our families. That is something that it's a myth that I just don't subscribe to. I just don't. For me, all of my career decisions over the last few years have been what's best for my family. How am I going to be home, more often? That doesn't mean that I don't have things I have to do with my job, but spending time with my son and spending time with my wife has great, great, great priority. Because when the children that we coach go home and when they go to where they're going to and they have their families, they're not thinking about us. Now, they might need us for things, but one of the best lessons that we can teach our student athletes is to show them by example how important it is to prioritize our family time. Okay. That is a job. It is a job. Date nights with your wife, your kids' activities, what they're involved in, and then not just their activities, then personal time with them, personal time with your children, if you do have them. And it's something, like I said, that we just tend to kind of just glaze over. And I'm here to be the first one to say, when we are managing our time at that skill, I say start with family. Okay. What's going on this week with my family, and let everything else fall behind that. Okay. Because it's something I feel that brings you peace, it brings you calm, peace of mind. You feel more comfortable about everything else that you're doing, because you're not neglecting home. Now, watch this. All right, when you're talking, I'm not talking from a place of perfection, man. I've screwed this up. Okay. I've been the guy that it was come home after a game, stay up all night looking at film, texting my coaching staff about what's going on, what happened in this game and what's going on with this and what was going on with this kid and that kid. Your phone is on. You got kids that's hitting you up, communicating you about stuff. And people say, well, coach is a 24-hour job. I don't disagree with that. But what I will say is be very, very careful not to give everybody else the best part of you before you give it to your family. Because probably the biggest tragedy that we could see is that a person that gives themselves to their job more than do their family, and they wind up in divorce. Okay. And then pointing the finger at our partner, wanting them to understand what it is that we're doing and what we're going through in order to do our job. That's not what's most important. Why are you working? A job is to make money to take care of your family. That's what it's for. Now, it's a mission field for those that understand being in ministry and serving. That is true. But if I'm not doing those things with my family first, what I do outside of my home has no value. None. Okay. So I want to make sure that we're remembering that. Okay. Um, Moving on, something else. The next thing is why coach well-being matters more than you think. Now, me being in the best frame of mind matters to my team success, to my family success, to my career success, to my business's success. I need to be in the right frame of mind, and we take that for granted. Coaches struggle from high levels of stress, and there's a code for that. Stress is a silent killer. So let me talk about myself. 2 seasons ago, um, I can remember during this time that I was having blinding headaches. Um, and it wasn't for me. I thought it was just the job related. It wasn't just that, but it was just everything. Just trying to be there for everybody and every little thing. And mind you, that's year 18 in my coaching career, 17 in my coaching career. So I've been doing this for a while. But because I'm human and I care and I have emotions, well, what took place at that time was it just had a lot going on. The other thing I was doing to myself was I ate late at night. I ate a lot, and I used eating to keep me awake. So during the night, during the day, when you saw me eating, I was eating to stay awake. That was what I did. Okay. Thank God I'm not 300 plus pounds. Okay. Got close. And, just the traveling, the games, the practices, the losing games, winning games, dealing with kids, dealing with parents, all those different things. And I just didn't know what was going on. And so, man, I went, to go get checked out, went to the doctor, and it come to find out I had high blood pressure. And I was totally shocked. And one of the things that triggered it was I was drinking Bang energy drinks. Okay. So I hate to knock anybody, but for me, I was drinking those energy drinks every single day, along with eating a lot of food and, high levels of sugar. So, with that, that was elevating my heart rate. And along with that, I had a lot of pressure on myself because of the situation that my team was in. So when I found out I had high blood pressure, immediately after that, I got diagnosed with COVID. So COVID sent me home for a week. After I got over COVID, I got the flu right after that. So the energy drinks, along with the stress, was breaking me down, breaking down my immune system. And I'm a guy that doesn't get sick a lot. Like when I get sick, I'm sick. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm really sick. So during that time frame, I got a chance to self-reflect. I got a chance to really, check on myself, my frame of mind, what was most important at the time. And I had my job too high. My performance, wins and losses, relationships with my kids, like I said, relationships with parents, and raising money and all this stuff here. It was too high, and for me, the way I was able to come into that conclusion also is I'm a minister as well. Which doesn't mean I'm a perfect person, but I'm a minister as well. So during that time frame, I got a chance to pray. I got a chance to do some reading, and I found myself calming down a whole lot. And during this time frame, while I was sick, I found myself, getting more calm and getting more clear about what tough decisions that needed to be made when I got back to the team. And so those decisions were being made. And when I came back to the team, we went on a 7-game win streak. Okay. I want to say, I think we might have won one of the games when I was coming back. My assistant coach at the time was holding it down. I think from that point, we went on a 7-game, might be 8, but 7-game win streak. Okay. Which was a big deal, and it was because tough decisions had to be made. I had to rearrange and do some things differently. And so What I found myself during this time was I found myself at a clear state of mind, and I was able to make better decisions. I was able to coach better. I was more empathetic, more understanding, can read the room. My discernment had heightened. And as a coach, we need that. You know, we get caught up in the X's and O's, and a lot of times, X's and O's is not our issue. It's not the game plan. It's personnel. It's paying attention to who's locked in, who's doing the little winning intangibles that we need. And sometimes we miss that stuff. We do. So as coaches, man, we got to get ourselves in the right frame of mind in order to be able to discern those things so we can make the best decisions for our program. Okay. Making sure that we're spending time with our families, making that the priority, getting home, okay, getting home to your kids, making sure you can be at those activities. And that's not the stress. That's the necessity. Okay. The job is the thing that takes care of my family, but at the same time, I got to be in the right frame of mind. Okay. So that's one of a couple of stories I can give you about me finding myself, getting into that peaceful state where I can see more clear. And, I even have stories years ago where I had some personal issues in my life that put stress on my marriage. And when I dealt with those things, went to therapy and counseling, had to eliminate some things out of my life. And I found myself, next thing you know, the better I got, the more wins we got. We started winning district titles and making deep playoff runs, and different things started to take place because I was in a better state of mind. So I'm speaking from a place of I've done it right and I've done it wrong. So it's not one of those things where I'm saying it like, I've done it right all the time. That's not the case. You know, it's like a process of elimination. And I'm grateful that I'm here to tell the story about being able to overcome those things. Okay. So another thing to do that helps with finding that balance, okay, is the power of saying no. Now that is something that a lot of times for us as coaches, we get called to do a lot of stuff for kids, for parents, for teachers, for administrators. We get called to do a lot of stuff. We do. Um, Man, it's amazing. I mean, we're pretty much like administrators on the campus. We get called for duty. We break up fights. We walk the halls. Um, some of the different things that we do as coaches. We help teachers out. Kids not doing too well in class. And our personal life, things that we have going on. But one thing I had to learn was I can't be everywhere at one time, and I tried to be. I'm one of those guys, and I still help out now, but had to learn the power of saying no. It protects my priorities. If something is not based on my priority list, the things that I sit down and that I consider to be the most important, then you know no is going to be an answer a lot of times. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean I don't ever help. I don't ever volunteer. I don't ever get involved. It's just I have to make sure that it doesn't get in the way of what's on my priority list. Okay. And yes, my family's understanding. Like, I'm not home every day, all day. I still have things I have to do. I mean, it is what it is, but in most cases, I'm going to check with my family first. What's going on? Do we have anything planned, anything coming up? And I still show my face. I'm still places I need to be. And but it gives you more strength, coaches, when you can say no. It protects your time, it protects your energy by priority your tasks and your responsibility, and it leads to better overall performance, being more clear. And it's a word I use, discernment. Sometimes there are things that we need to pick up on. It's sometimes there are things that you can't necessarily pick up on it with your natural eyes. I can definitely tell a story of a situation a few years ago where there was just a situation where I had to eliminate something that was causing friction within my team. Very, very, very tough decision. But it was a situation that I knew something was up. I knew something was going, but I couldn't figure it out. And then I found out later on, after I made that decision, I started to get, stories, from players. the one on the team that was like, hey, when I made that decision, it was like, man, this was going on, that was going on, these conversations were happening, things like that. And I was able to get the attention of my team again because I had to make a tough decision for the group. And it turned out to be, a really, really great season. I grew closer with that team. Have some good relationships out of that team at this point, but it was a tough decision. And sometimes coaches, we got to think. This is one of my things. Um, you're gonna hear me say this a lot. Never sacrifice character for talent. Never sacrifice character for talent. Never. Now, well, coach, you saying that you? Yes, I have done it. I've bent over backwards. I've bent and bent and bent and bent to try to accommodate, um, you know, situations and people on the team who I thought was important. It was good players, and but the thing about it is that the character was shaken. But the only way that I can see that, coach, is I had to be in the right frame of mind because we're not judging basketball players. We're judging decision makers. That's the thing that we have to make sure that is not just the ability to play basketball or football or baseball, any team sport. It's decision making, because you can have players that are really, really good players, and they could be making bad decisions based on influence, not because they don't understand what you're teaching or that they don't trust what you're teaching, but they could be being influenced, okay, by something or somebody that caused them to be bad decision makers at crucial times in games. And those are the type of things for me that I've learned to pick up on. Because if we're here to win, it's my job to teach this game at the highest level. And we're spending hours in practice going over details to be great at what we do. Then what is happening to you in that moment as a student athlete that's saying, I can't do or I don't want to do what coach has taught me? Think about that, coaches. You're playing guys because they have a lot of ability. But if you think about it, sometimes it's not what we think. We're trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, but sometimes there's influence there, okay, that's causing them to make some bad decisions. So we have to be willing to sit somebody on the bench, okay, in order to get them to see that we as a team are going to play a certain way, okay? So going backwards to what I was saying, the power of saying no gives you the ability, coach, to see more clearly. The ability to not get involved in so many activities outside of your job and your family that causes you to get cluttered, that causes you to not to be able to see clearly, that causes you to be able to miss out on little minor details. Because you think about it, man, like right here in this house that I live in, or that you live in, man, just think about if the contractor misses a nut here or a bolt or a screw. Over time, what happens with different types of weather and wear and tear, the house is meant to stand, but if there's a nut, a bolt, a screw, or a washer, or a board, or something like that that's missing, that building's going to crumble at some point in time. Okay. And so you want to make sure that by saying no, it keeps your mind clear. Okay. It keeps you decluttered. All right. So I hope that's helping. Hope that helps you out to see. Okay. And the last thing that I want to, to reiterate, even though I've said about it before, is we say this, but we gotta do this. And it is family first. Now, everybody's not married, okay? Everybody doesn't have kids, but we all have a family. We have somebody that we affiliate with, that we love, grandmothers, aunts, nieces, nephews, kids. I mean, we do have family. And the thing about it is for us as people, relationships are more important than anything that we do. They're more important because your relationships help you with your why. It does. Helps you with your why. Why do you keep doing what you're doing? And for us today, we're talking about trying to have the ability to make sure that we're, balancing our professional and our personal life. Well, we got to remember that our family comes before any and everything that we do. As competitive as I am, and I'm still a coach that's in pursuit of winning a state championship. The bottom line is that it does not need to come at sacrificing my family. If y'all have paid attention, there have been a lot of successful leaders here in America who've done a lot of great things for other people who wind up in divorce, who have children that don't like them, that they're adults and they don't have anything to do with their parents. The people who they say they love, that as time has gone on, you sacrifice so much to win trophies and to make money, and you've hurt so many people along the way. I'm guilty of that. My wife and I had to have some hard conversations and go through some counseling because of how I felt about myself as a person was locked into my performance on my job. Self-esteem was not where it needed to be. Self-worth was not where it's supposed to be. And it was wrapped up in whether I win or not as a coach. And then it came home. I wasn't paying any attention at home, watching more film, calling coaches, talking about the game all the time. And then when I'm not talking about a game, I'm watching film, and then watching, basketball for entertainment. It's just too high. It's too high. So what does it mean about, family first? Family is the foundation for true success. I should want to succeed in order to give my family the best life possible. Now, as coaches for us, let's be honest, man, at the high school level, middle school level, when we're winning, our household isn't changing. We're not making extra money. We're not at the pro level and the college level where you win at a high level and they're dropping, hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. I'm talking about the regular, everyday, average Joe, or the average, we'll say for the ladies, Jill, Joe or Joe or Jill. Our performance at work has nothing to do with at home. It just doesn't. Your family loves you, and they don't care whether you win or lose. They probably prefer to be around you when you're winning more than losing. But ultimately, coming home to your family, they're not worried about the win or loss or all that stuff there, man. They just want you home. You got to look at it, man, especially as men, man, if you want to truly win, it's got to be your family respects you and that your family loves you. And I'm going to tell you, my son and I, he's 12 now, but he's had enough sense where he can tell me, Dad, there's too much basketball. It's too much. He's like, hey, you're home. You're looking at basketball on your phone. Like, hey, watch this show with me. Play this game with me. And I've ignored it. I have. I've gotten better over time. I have. I can honestly say that. I have my moments every now and again. But what we've done in our household is we've given our son, a license to we can communicate, man. And I have to listen to what he's saying because that relationship is very, very important. Of course, my wife, our communication can be different. There's some things that she can say or do to make me understand, but it means more when I'm intentional about making sure that I prioritize time with my wife and with my son. So I encourage y'all, make sure that your family is first. That is where your coaching success really comes from. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Your student athletes watch your life. They see your life more clearly than what you think. They see you. Me, what I started doing is days of practice, I would just say, hey guys, make sure you go home and spend time with your family. Now, whether they went home and did it or not, I don't know. But it's something I started to say to them because we always talk about, I coach boys, I always encourage them, just trying to get them to understand the world needs more committed husbands and fathers. So we have conversations about that. So I'm obligated to make sure that they're hearing me talk about family time. And seeing me with my son, seeing me with my wife, knowing that, hey, when I'm leaving home, hey, I'm home. I'm with my family or I'm out with my family or we go out, we be at the mall or the boardwalk or in Walmart or whatever, and they see me with my family. So it's one of those things that your life is talking, it's speaking, you know. So success on the quarter field means nothing without a strong support at home. Okay. Keep your family as your top priority, because the careers that we do, um, some people do it for years. I don't want to do this for 50 years. So let's get that straight. I'm not that guy. This is year 20 for me. I'm gonna go as long as I can, um, because I do love what I do, but I love my wife more and I love my son more. And then for me, the addition is my church. I'm also a musician in my church. And that's something I love doing. I love serving in my church through the ministry of music. So I encourage you, coaches, to make sure that you balance your coaching responsibilities, okay, with your personal life. Make sure that you are being intentional about understanding what matters most and make your decisions based on that. I left a team a few years ago at Southwood High School, um, where that next year we were going to be really, really, really good. I can't deny it. Anybody that knows about that situation, we were going to be really good. Had one of the top players in the state, along with a great cast of players that were tough kids. Enjoyed coaching them, but I left that situation because the next job that I took, the schedule overall was better for my household. Getting off at a different time, um, getting home at a decent hour. Um, the school system was set up where my son came to me every single day, and we're home together every day. You know, it helped out my wife with her having a nursing schedule. My son going to school close to where I work. It helped out with being able to get to and from him if he got sick or anything happened. And so the decision was made based on that. And when I got there, program needed to, I had needed to turn around a little bit. And we did that. We were trending in the right direction, started winning games, getting to the playoffs, slowly building. And the situation was great for my household, So coaches, don't be afraid to say no. Okay. Don't be afraid to manage your time, to plan your time out and look and see what's coming ahead. Say no to the things it's just in the way. It's just busy work. Like, don't be afraid of that. Make your family first. Don't forget those things. Okay. So I appreciate those of you that's joined. There's a question in the chat. It says, "What's your biggest challenge in balancing coaching and personal life?" If you want to share, got a couple minutes there you can share. But thank you so much for your time. We hope to continue to build this community here outside the X's and O's with me, Coach Hamilton. Be on the lookout. I do have a book coming out here soon, so you'll be seeing advertising for that. It's called The Complete Coach: Integrating Well-Being with Success. Okay. Again, that's The Complete Coach: Integrating Well-Being with Success. So please subscribe to this channel. If this video you found it was a help to you, please share it. All right. And I want to grow this community here. I want to have a place where coaches, we can come together and talk about things that are not dealing with just the X's and O's. All right. Us prioritizing who we are as people more than winning. Because I promise you, the better person I became, the better performing my teams were, and sometimes you just don't have enough talent to win. That's the case. But the performance meant a whole lot, means a whole lot. I'm really big on how we win, how we play games. So appreciate you coming, checking out. All right. Again, Coach Eddie Hamilton signing off, and I hope the best for you, Coach. Take care.